Now that looks awesome. Hey everybody, it's Rob with Rob Finds Treasure, and welcome back to my channel. We've got kind of a fun video, I guess mostly for me. Won't know if it's fun for you until we get into this box, but I do want to thank Mark in St. Louis. Mark in St. Louis sent me an email saying that he had tried to get a couple of boxes of pennies from his bank, his credit union, and back around Christmas, they gave him 2 boxes of customer wrapped rolls. He has gone through some of the rolls, and most of them are 59s through 80s. Of course, that makes them mostly copper. Now, he doesn't cherry pick any cents for any varieties. I don't know if he doesn't like to do that or doesn't have the knowledge to do so, but he reached out to me and said, Rob, would you like one of the boxes that you could cherry pick on your own? Maybe make a video out of if it's got anything good in it. And I said, you know what, Mark? What do you want in trade? He just said he wanted me to have some fun with it, and if we have some good finds, to film it. So I'm making this introduction to this video so that you guys can share with me if we have any good finds. Now, all I've done is pop the tape that Mark had on here just to confirm the contents, and most dubitably, we do have customer wrapped rolls. We have yet to peek inside any of the rolls. I just wanted to give you the backstory of this, and man, I'm ready to get going. We could go through this and find that they're all 59 through 82s, just copper, no varieties, nothing bueno. But man, hunting is just as fun as finding sometimes. So because he's in St. Louis, the majority of these coins should be Philadelphia and Denver mints, which means we have a good shot at finding some goodies here. Of course, I'll be pulling out the years that are not copper, should we find any, and checking those for varieties and throwing them to the side. Anything that is copper years with varieties, I will stack up and then I will scope. Outside of that though, I'm just happy to have a box full of mostly copper cents is what I'm guessing. I think I've set this up long enough. We'll do a couple of rolls live with the overhead just to get a peek at what they look like. And then after that, if we haven't found anything special or no wheats or nothing fantastic, I'll go ahead and start hunting them off camera with giving you periodic updates. Mark in St. Louis, thank you very much. Let's get after it. We'll crack the first couple of rolls together and we'll do the field goal posts. We'll do one roll from each side and see what we got. All right, I don't know how well this is gonna come out. I've got the overhead camera set up. All I'm gonna do is take a quick peek to make sure that all 50 coins in this roll appear to be copper, see if we have any wheat cents, and see if we have any of the variety years to look at. I am not going to look at all 2,500 copper cents to check for every single RPM or other variety, but I will definitely be looking for any of the major ones. So this is the first roll right here, and it looks like we're mostly copper. There might possibly be some non-copper cents. I'm gonna get some light on here, and if I run across something worth mentioning, I'll let you know, but it looks like we've got a lot of 70s so far, a beat up 60. Here's a nice 1974. Definitely looks like, from what I'm seeing, these are circulated cents, but it looks like they're less circulated than when you'd get in a box today. Like maybe this person rolled these up possibly in the 80s. I mean, we've got a 1982 here. I don't know if it's copper yet. I would say it is. But so far, mostly 70s, late 70s, some 71s, and 80s. Obviously, I'd be excited to find a 70S small date, but that's a 70D. And again, I will run back through these off camera and do a little more extensive search on any of the years. Here's a 1960D, which I will be scoping to see if it has any varieties or RPMs. But so far, mostly common years, just in better than normal circulated condition for a box you'd pick up in 2021 for sure. All right, looks like it's gonna be a predominantly copper roll. I have to weigh up that 82 large date to confirm that it was all copper, and that is a 1970 Denver. For fun, I'm gonna get my scale. You won't see it on camera, but I'm gonna double check that. and that is 3.1. So that's copper. And while I have you here, I'll go ahead and take a peek at this 1960D, and that is a large date, no variety. So 50 cents in that roll, all copper, no fun dates other than the 60D. So we're going to assume this is probably a copper dump, but it doesn't mean we won't find any varieties. Let me open up this one more roll. This is the 2 field goal posts of the box, if you will. And we'll see if it's the same thing going on here. And it looks like it is. Holy cow, we're going to have 2,500 probably copper cents to add to the copper collection. And I'm going to go really quick. I will be pulling out the 82s. I do need to validate that they are copper before I add them to my collection as well. I'm going to be a little quiet for a second. Let me just double check that's a Denver. It is, as I run through these, and you can just watch me do that. All right, in this round of coins, we had a lot more 82s. I'll be weighing those up. We actually had a 1959D. I pulled those out and I'm scoping it really quick, and there's no varieties on that one. We had a really nice 1969 Denver. Just want to double check it for the no FG. It does have an FG, so it's not a variety, although it's nice. And then we also had a 1963D, which I'm checking for the DDO, and it is not. Like I said, we've done 2 rolls. I will take my time off camera, but I didn't want to waste your time. Let me weigh those up. I'll bring you guys back if I find anything, or I'll give you a wrap up after every 10 rolls to give you an idea of what we found. Well, we're 10 rolls in. I figured I'd give you a wrap up. After 10 rolls, we do have 1 Canadian, 2 59s, 1 bright and shiny 69D, and a pretty nice 69S, not the DDO. We also found a wheat cent, a 1941 Denver, I believe. Let me just double check. It's been a minute. Yeah, 41D. So 1 wheat cent in the first 10 rolls with some other stuff, and we even have some zinc cents in there as well. We'll give you a wrap up after the next 10, unless I run into something worth pointing out before then. We have now completed 20 rolls, and not much more to add to that 10 set of rolls other than a couple of 59s and a relatively nice 1974S, which I don't see too often. And a bunch more zincs were in those 10 rolls as well. Let's go for the next 10, unless we find something cool. Well, now we've gone through 30 rolls, really nothing else to add. There is a 1961D RPM. I haven't looked it up to see which one it is yet, but there is definitely a counterclockwise rotation to the D down below. It's not worth a lot of money or anything. I'll probably hold on to it, identify it later, and flip it up. Outside of that, we are growing in the sheer number of zinc cents, and a lot of them, most of them, are 83P, 83D, 84P, and 84D. And I don't know if they kept them because they weren't sure if they were comprised of copper yet, or maybe they kept them for any transitional errors, or possibly they kept them to look for the varieties that are on the 83P and 84P as well. Now, I've inspected them for varieties. I've also weighed them all up to confirm that all these planchets are zinc, and they are. We got 20 more rolls to go, and in my estimation, based on what I've seen so far, this is probably somebody who collected copper, much like myself, and held on to it and either fell through hard times or the collection fell into someone's hands who just wanted to get the money back in the bank. Either way, it looks like they may have cherry-picked most of these for any varieties. I have not found really any varieties to speak of other than this RPM, which is very minor, and under heavy magnification, it's barely visible. We're going to keep going, though. 20 more rolls left. I'll bring you back in if we find something or at the end of the 40th roll. We're now down to the last 10 rolls, 40 rolls hunted. Really nothing else to report besides a couple of 59s. And judging by the dates on the coins, we have a few 87s and a few 86s and some 85s. So my best guesstimate, like I said earlier, is a copper collector who also put in some of the nicer 85, 86, 87s in here just because maybe they were expecting to maybe find varieties one day, or they just used them as fillers in their copper rolls. Not quite sure, but based on the fact that we've gone through 40 with only 10 rolls left, unless we get a miracle find, I'm pretty much just going to be adding a few more side finds, adding a few more zinc cents, and adding copper to my collection, which is not bad. We're going to continue on with the last 10 rolls. I'll bring you in if I find something. Otherwise, a final wrap up. Well, we're on roll 47 of the box, and it took 47 rolls to find something worth talking about. We literally just began hunting this roll, and I've got a 72p under the scope, and you can clearly see we've got some doubling here at the date. It's hard to see because of the condition, but we do have some doubling on the B, the I, and the bottom of the L, but where it's most pronounced, and you guys will see it pretty easily here, is on In God We Trust. If you just take a peek, you can see clearly the doubling, the heavy doubling, that's on all letters in the motto. So I've narrowed it down. We recently actually found one just like this in a recent hunt. This is the FS 108, and in hand it looks beautiful. Under the scope it does have some damage, but at the end of the day, this is probably going to be a mint state brown. I don't think they'd give it a red brown, but it's nice overall. Does have a little bit of gunk on it, but no reason to clean that off. We'll just leave it like it is. Hard to believe that I don't find these very often. And now we have found a couple exact same variety 108 in the last few penny hunts. We're going to keep hunting. If we're fortunate, maybe we'll run into something else. But that's a good find. Well, that's going to do it for that penny box. It was a really fun hunt. I'll tell you, I'm tired of weighing up coins and checking for varieties because that took a long time. We had 50 coins per roll times 50 rolls, 2,500 cents. And minus that 350 or 400 zinc cents, we had to scope a lot of coins. That being said, it was still fun scoping these zinc cents because, again, a lot of them were 83Ps and 84Ps. And there were some nice examples in there. Ones I thought about keeping, but I have rolls of nice examples, so I didn't need to keep them. The last 10 rolls actually had a nice flurry of 87, 88s, and 89s. We got a lot of copper to add to the collection. We got that one Canadian, 959s, two pretty nice red cents from the 60s, and that 74S. I didn't keep a lot of the red copper examples from 77 through 82 because I have lots of those. Two 69S's, neither of which were the DDO. One pretty nice and red. We'll keep them both. Finds of the box. We did find that one wheat cent, that 41D. Odd finding that in there. That RPM, which I'll classify later, 61D. And the find of the box, pretty nice 1972P DDO FS 108. We've got many of those now. Happy to find more. Hopefully, despite the lack of fun finds, you guys still found this hunt fun. I also want to take a second and thank Mark for allowing me to go through this box. Very nice of you, very generous of you. Thank you very much, Mark. If you did enjoy it, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. And as always, everyone, happy hunting. And thanks for watching.